Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the State of Downtown Economic Forum. Events like this and the work of the Downtown DC Business Improvement District would not be possible without the diligent work and support of our Board of Directors. Thank you.
Downtown doesn't just run on coffee. It runs on people who show up to clean it, guide it, and bring it to life. From early mornings to event kickoffs, your Downtown DC Sand Ambassadors are behind the scenes and right by your side. Need a hand? Look for the bold red.
Are you stalking and following us on LinkedIn? Well, why not? Here's what you're missing. We post about developments in our downtown community, the work behind the scenes, and what it takes to make downtown DC a leading destination with undeniable energy. Here's a sneak peek of what we've got in store. Why marketing isn't magic. A fireside chat series with industry professionals where we dispel the myth that marketing is a 1, 2, 3, snap your fingers and poof, there it is. Follow us on LinkedIn and stay connected.
You know that one friend who knows everything going on in downtown DC? Well, you can be that friend. The Rundown drops bi-weekly with downtown events, news, and can't-miss moments. Scan the QR code to subscribe to email and text updates. Pull out your phone. Scan it now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, Director of Government Affairs for Government, Community, and Economic Partnerships, Rayna Jordan.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. To Mayor Bowser, members of the council, and colleagues across the downtown DC bid, welcome to the Hopkins Bloomberg Center. My name is Rayna Jordan, and I'm the Director of Government Affairs for Johns Hopkins. Our Vice President of Government Affairs, Muriel, could not be here today, but she sends her deepest apologies as she sincerely wanted to be here with you guys in our beautiful home in DC. If anyone were to wonder why downtown, they would only need to look around this room. We stand at the intersection of policy and community. For Johns Hopkins, why downtown wasn't just a real estate decision. It was a mission-driven choice. Downtown DC is one of the most diverse and exciting neighborhoods in one of the most important cities in the world. I may be biased, but I think I'm in good company. We didn't want to be just near the conversation, we wanted to host it. Universities are no longer just ivory towers. We are essential anchors of the modern urban economy. Last year's State of Downtown report highlights that downtown is becoming a magnet for universities. And today, more than a dozen institutions representing over 5 million square feet of space call downtown home. The Hopkins Bloomberg Center serves as the cornerstone of the university's presence in the district. It encompasses over 435,000 square feet of space and is home to several of our schools, including the School of Advanced International Studies, the Carey School of Business, the Krieger School of Arts and Sciences, and the newly launched School of Government and Policy. From academic and policy forums to free public art gallery featuring exhibits born out of partnerships, the Hopkins Bloomberg Center is more than just a classroom space. It functions as a vibrant hub for academic and cultural life. At Johns Hopkins, our impact is already woven into the fabric of this city. As of today, we have over 1,400 DC residents that are employed by Johns Hopkins, and our alumni network in the district is over 8,000 members strong. By choosing to locate the Hopkins Bloomberg Center here in the heart of the city, we are creating a hub that brings this massive talent pool and workforce directly into the downtown corridor every single day. Our plans for the next phase of the Hopkins in DC experience are supported by the BID's Downtown East vision, where higher education serves as a permanent anchor for the neighborhood's vitality. By expanding our footprint, we are investing in the idea that a university integrated into the city's fabric creates a richer experience for our students and a more resilient economy for DC. We aren't just filling buildings, we are helping to build an ecosystem of innovation. The state of a downtown is about progress tempered by the unknowns of a dynamic environment. And while we may face challenges, the green sprouts of recovery are visible in the cultural hubs, our retail corridors, and our classrooms. At Johns Hopkins, we are proud to be a part of this comeback, and we are committed to working alongside the mayor, the council, and the BID to ensure that downtown remains an economic and intellectual powerhouse. Thank you for being here today. It helped us shape what comes next. Please enjoy the forum.
Every year at the State of Downtown Forum, we present numbers: foot traffic, retail sales, office occupancy. But here's what those numbers don't show: the people. The downtown worker who stopped in for coffee before beginning their day. The friends that made Franklin Park their new picnic spot. The Caps and Wizards fan who showed up no matter what. The couple who found love under a giant mistletoe. The small business that grew its roots here. The downtown DC economy isn't just about the numbers. Downtown DC is a living, breathing, vibrant place, and the numbers we track are the evidence of that life. Built by people, for people, Downtown DC is a leading destination with undeniable energy, the social center of the city where you're invited to find what thrills you. So today, we're telling the story of the people who make this downtown our downtown.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Director of Marketing and Communications for the Downtown DC BID, Ebony Walton.
For decades, our downtown and downtowns across the country were on autopilot. The heartbeat of our downtown was regulated by a schedule. We didn't need a strategy. Honey, we were running on autopilot. It was the cadence of the in-person 9 to 5 schedule. People moving and grooving, coming and going, shopping and dancing, eating and laughing, all like clockwork. But that rhythm has changed, forever interrupted because of the pandemic. And listen, we are not going back. I know some of y'all want to, but can I tell you something? I think there were some good things that came out of the pandemic. There were. We thought we were living our best lives. But listen, we realized that all office workers don't need to be in office to do their work. I know some of y'all want to say amen. It's okay. You can say it later. We realized that parents, how much time were we missing? Commuting 2 hours, not able to pick up our children, putting them in aftercare. Some of us taking care of loved ones, aging parents. And we said, wait a minute, this feels kind of good. I don't need to take clothes to the cleaners. I don't need to pay for a parking spot. So why now do we want to do a complete reset and go back to the way things were? I get it. We need to stimulate the downtown economy. That's why we're here, right? But listen, we cannot look for a pre-pandemic solution to a post-pandemic problem. It is time to rethink, reimagine, re-envision all the re's. downtown in a way that we've never done before. Listen, our downtown was predicated on the golden egg. You know what the golden egg was? Yes, you do. It's you, it's me. It's the downtown worker. Going, spending money, getting coffee in the morning, going, eating lunch, taking our clothes to the cleaners, going to the bank, going to happy hours. We were and are the golden egg, but it is time for us to diversify our mix of uses. Our downtown, more than 80% office workers, right? So what's the real problem? The real problem, we think it's retail vacancy. No. You know what the problem is that we have? It's people. Office vacancy, people. Visitation, people. Employment, say it with me. People. It's people. So we must become a magnet, finding other ways to draw people to our downtown, not making them. Do you like to be told what to do? No, it's a question. Do you like to be told what to do? You don't. That's why he didn't answer, because he didn't like me putting him on the spot. No one likes to be told what to do. I know I don't. So why are we telling people, making them come? No, we want people to choose to come downtown. We want them to come for the joy, for the inspiration, to come and meander. We want students. We want visitors. We want workers. We want residents. And the truth of the matter is that many of us are looking for a silver bullet. There is not a silver bullet, spoiler alert, that will cure all of our evils. But what I can tell you is there are a whole bunch of golden BBs. Residents. Golden BB. Placemaking activations, Golden BB. Visitors, Golden BB. Office to residential, Golden BB. Office to anything, Golden BB. Okay, I think you got it. So there are lots of Golden BBs, and we must remember, I want to just tell you something really quick. My mother told me a long time ago, she said, Ebony, he who has the gold makes the rules. That's true, but there is a different kind of currency. Gold is not always money and spending. There is a creative currency. There's all kind of currency. People in this room who make policies, employers choosing to ensure that you have a happy workplace, that people want to come to work. Some of us who create and shape events. There are all kinds of currency and all kinds of golden BBs. So what we must do, I know we want short-term solutions because it doesn't feel good. We want people to come back right now because we want things to be stimulated the way they were. But this is an invitation. We have been given the proverbial golden ticket, like Willy Wonka, to be able to transform this downtown into something 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now that will be able to withstand whatever comes our way. So y'all know what we got to do. Forget about thinking out of the box. Kick that box open. Kick it open. Forget about what we've done before, what we think is supposed to work. Let me tell you, let me leave you with this. Jane Jacobs, the author of The Death and Life of Great American Cities, said this. She put it this way, in my own words. People use streets when there is a reason for people to use the street. So we must give people lots of reasons to be on our streets, to animate, to have more traffic, that sustainability and that life that we are so looking for. Not just diversifying the mix of land uses, but let's diversify the doggone buildings, y'all. Let's put apartments and hotels and mix education. We need all of these things together. Because Destination DC has it right. There is only one DC. You can do better than that. I know y'all not just clapping like that. While there is only one DC, we must be the stewards to tell that story of all of the different reasons why people should come downtown, why they should choose downtown. So, you all have golden BBs. What are you going to do with it?
It's time to switch gears. Celebrate sustainable commuting with refreshments, music, and giveaways. Pedal into Franklin Park for Bike to Work Day, May 15th from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. You could even leave with an e-bike. Scan the QR code to learn more. Hey, downtown workers, commuters, and afternooners. Still staring at that inbox? It's time for a lunch break. Kick off summer at Franklin Park with sweet treats, lawn games, a live DJ, and giveaways. You can even score a summer prize pack when you complete our survey. Join us at the Downtown DC Summer Kickoff on May 27th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Director of Planning and Economic Development for the Downtown DC Business Improvement District, Mark Simpson.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, for that. Very happy to be here this morning with you. And I have the distinct pleasure of being able to share with you some of the key storylines and data points coming out of the 2025 State of Downtown report, which all of you should now have a copy of. I would say what I'm about to show you is graphics that are all in the report, so put your cell phones away, take a moment, strap in, and get ready for a data visualization journey with me. I first want to start with foot traffic. It's a key indicator for us in how we're measuring our recovery. Overall, our downtown district saw a 2% increase in visitation across the year. But when we break out the different types of uses, we can see that there are, do I have my image yet? Okay. So we saw a 2% increase overall, but when we look at the different types of visitors that we have, commuters, out-of-market visitors, those are our tourists, and then regional visitors, these are like our daytime people, we see that there's a much more nuanced picture that starts to emerge. So as we look at this here, let's start with the blue line. Those are commuters. At the start of the year, you can see we were up year over year, right? North of the line, we're better. South of the line, we're worse. At the beginning of the year, our commuter traffic was up about 3%. And then look what happened when the new administration came in and instituted these return to office mandates, right? Huge jump, 19% in that commuter traffic. And it slowly started to tick down for the summer. And then after October 1st, when we had major reductions in federal employment, we had a government shutdown, the commuter traffic, returned to about where it started at the beginning of the year, a little bit better. Turning to our visitors, you can see that pink line there, those are our out-of-market folks. Those are our tourists coming from abroad or further afield. 7% increase as part of what we suspect was the inauguration, right? That's great. We were effectively flat in the spring, and then unfortunately the trends turned negative in summer. And this corresponds with the surge in federal law enforcement, the deployment of the National Guard. Those numbers, those visitor numbers, started to recover a bit at the end of the year, but we're still negative. And that decline, the rise in commuters, was not enough to make up for the overall reduction in visits. So if you'll excuse a pun, foot traffic in 2025 started with a sprint, but ended up crossing the finish line with a hobble. One thing I want to point out and highlight that despite these headwinds, our cultural anchors and institutions saw increased attendance year over year. So we had about a 9% increase relative to the total number of visitors or attendees in 2024. It's driven by Cap 1, saw a bump. We adjusted it slightly to take into account for the summer renovation, which is going to continue to see increased attendance and create more opportunities going forward. Our museum saw a great big bump. And then we had like a slight decline in our theater visitors, but overall we were up. And this is in the face of those numbers that I showed you previous with the declining visitors. I'm very happy to share, and I'm proud that the bid, we're investing further in our arts, culture, and entertainment institutions. We see this as a key driver for downtown's growth and recovery, one of Ebony's golden BBs. I'm pleased to say that we've hired Aisha Bond. I'm looking forward to working with her. And she's going to be, yeah, please, Aisha's great. She joined the team, and she's going to be focused exclusively on supporting our arts, culture, and entertainment institutions and partners so that we can cement these gains and build on them for the future going forward. Okay, I would like to turn to employment. These jobs numbers are not going to be as rosy. And I should say this is probably above my pay grade. I shouldn't say the R word, recession. But the warning lights are flashing red. And so what you're looking at here, this is a graph comparing job changes relative to 2019. So again, above the line, you're better than where you were. Below the line, you're worse off. And the district overall has the unique and unenviable position of being the only jurisdiction amongst our neighbors that not only saw negative job growth last year, but is still below pre-pandemic levels. Feeling uneasy? Me too. And I would say as the data guy, I hate to do this, but these are only numbers that are through 2025. And the indications of the most recent data for 26 show that all of our municipalities are losing jobs. And so when we're here next year, I would suspect that red line to continue its march downward. Job growth is incredibly important. It needs to be a key focus for our economic development strategy, always has been, because job growth is the thing that supports our real estate market, and it's a thing that supports our municipal tax base. But folks, I don't want you to lose hope, because there is something that we can get excited about, and I think it's here in this room with us. I mean, look at how beautiful this auditorium is. I really want to thank our partners, thank Rayna for that wonderful introduction, and to piggyback on what she said, this theater, we get to see firsthand an avenue of growth. This is an opportunity, again, another one of those golden BBs, that can support our downtown economy, particularly in the face of the reduction of federal employment. And so, as Rayna mentioned, Hopkins, they purchased an obsolete office building at foreclosure. They're expanding their footprint. Our friends at Georgetown, they opened 111 Mass, just outside our boundary. But it's the second building that they've delivered in as many years, and they have incredible growth plans for the future. Howard University is making plans to move academic programs downtown. And then Rayna had alluded to it as well. There's an increasing trend of out-of-market schools, most recently Stanford, University of Michigan, and UNC, that are opening, they're either purchasing or leasing to establish satellite campuses here in downtown and like in the larger downtown area, because they recognize the long-term investment and opportunity and value that comes from bringing their faculty, staff, and alumni downtown in the nation's capital. We need to continue to build on these gains. I'll end with a look at another challenging aspect of both the district and the downtown economy, and that's our housing sector. It is probably not a surprise to many people in this room, but in the district, our multifamily ecosystem, market rate multifamily, has effectively ground to a halt. We are showing here a comparison of total housing starts, multifamily apartment home housing starts from 2019 to 2025. And so you can see the pie shrunk by about a third, right? The region is generating a third fewer units in 25 than it did in 19, but that pain has not been shared equally. In the district, we used to capture, or we're capturing about half as much of the production, whereas our friends in Virginia have effectively doubled their capture of that growth. And so what it means is the district is capturing a smaller piece of a shrinking pie My friend Kofi is going to come up next and talk to you all a little bit about the beautiful project that he worked on, the Accolade residential conversion. Those projects are difficult, not impossible, but he's going to take you through what makes them so challenging. But I'm here to tell you many of the reasons why we are not building enough housing are for factors that are completely under the district's control. Y'all might know there's a mayoral race that's happening right now. I don't know if anyone's aware. We're thrilled to see many candidates, both on the council and for the mayor's office, putting forward very ambitious housing goals and centering their platforms on it, because we need more housing. We need, for a myriad of reasons, we need to be building more. But these visions cannot become a reality if we do not continue the policy gains like the ones we saw in the Rental Act, the investments and abatements in things like the Housing in Downtown program or Office to Anything program. And we need to look creatively at public financing mechanisms that can make projects pencil that otherwise would be stuck in the pipeline. Okay, that is my time. Thank you, everyone. I could talk about this all day. No joke, call me. I will talk to you whenever. I want to thank my Gensler team and HRNA for helping to put together a great report. And I'll just end by saying, if you are a data nerd like me or a normie, God bless you. We are here as the bid to help you make sense of what's happening downtown. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Foulger Pratt, Director of Development, Kofi Meroe.
Good morning. I don't know if I'm going to be as exciting as Ebony, but I am here to talk about our golden BB, as she nicely put it. The Accolade is a 243-unit apartment building that we converted from an office building, and I just delivered it late last year. Building is absolutely beautiful, fully amenitized. As far as I know, everyone's really happy in the building, but that's not actually why I'm here today. I'm not here to talk to you about the merits of my beautiful building. I am here to talk to you about the challenges and some of the complexities that we ran into. As everyone knows, or may not know, but office to anything conversions, but I'm a multifamily expert, so office to residential conversions are a big topic in the real estate circles. Lots of people are talking about them, and I thought it would be really apt to come here today and really talk through some of the challenges from our lens and a real-world view of the Accolade. So conversions are complex, very complicated, but they're absolutely a viable path to meeting our future real estate goals. And one of the things I don't want you to leave this room without getting is the fact that they're complicated, they're expensive, and you really need a good team behind you if you're going to pull off an office to residential conversion. And one of the things that I'm seeing in the market is a lot of generalization when it comes to trying to evaluate whether office buildings are good for any certain type of conversion. And that's one of the first myths I'd like to bust, which is each building is different, each building is unique, and what we found, we've been successful in really evaluating buildings at the building level because you can really run into some issues when you're designing around mechanical structural systems. There is no templatized approach to converting these buildings. And if anyone knows, developing a building like this is very expensive. And so, beyond the challenges of trying to make the building work for what your program is, you've got to raise the money. Interest rates have been going up a lot over the last couple of years. Cost of construction, cost of labor. We've had a couple reasons over the last couple of years why it's more expensive to get material into this country. And so all of those pressures are working on developers and investors as they're looking to transform these buildings and give them a new lease on life. And ultimately, the most important thing any team must really understand before they embark on one of these projects is understanding understanding where your real estate sits in the context of the local policies and the zoning rules, because that's ultimately what is going to guide your ability to pull off a project like this. And so if you look at the screen, I want to tell you a little story about how we looked at 30 different apartment buildings in DC before we picked this one diamond in the rough, as I call it. And I talked about structural systems, right, and just generally how the buildings are laid out. If you look at the highlighted green areas, these are one of the main reasons why this building worked. Those are the elevator cores, and those are the stairwells in the building. Pretty much exactly where we needed them. The building also had 4 levels of parking that was already constructed underground. Great, super expensive to build that today. And if these things were not right there, probably would have been cheaper to take the building down, in all honesty, and rebuild it from scratch. But it had really good bones. And one of the most unique elements about this building, if you see in the center, is it had an atrium. If anyone's been in like a Hyatt, one of the older Hyatts, they have the atrium that kind of run up through the whole hotel. Same thing for this office building. It had an atrium that started on the lobby level, ran all the way up to the roof, and we were able to uncap that, very tediously kind of peel back some of the slab, because you'll see the apartment building layout on the right is kind of as it exists today. It's a little smaller, but having these elements present, we were really able to program and maximize density, as we say in the real estate environment, and double load our corridors, get a lot of sunlight into the interior of the building, and frankly, make it a much better place for people to live, as well as be able to meet certain local codes as far as sunlight, ventilation, and stuff like that. These images are really a representation of what it really takes to convert an office building. And if you focus on the center image specifically, that is a representation of one of the biggest challenges in this building. If anyone has ever seen concrete poured, there's always some sort of metal structure that goes into the concrete. And so a conventional slab is going to be quite thick. And we knew this when we bought the building, but this building has a post-tension slab. And what that is beyond the metal structure, it also has, and if you look at the highlighted orange cables in the image, it also has these cables that get laid into the concrete, and there's special machines that tense those cables and really reinforce the structure. And what it allows you to do is to have thinner floors as opposed to thicker conventional floors, which allows us to maximize the height in the building, which is great. And so height, everyone loves height, but you take an office building that has a center core, maybe 1 center or 2 center bathrooms, 2 risers maybe, and you're now trying to make 4,000 plus penetrations throughout that grid and that cabling system in order to get all your electrical, your mechanical, and your plumbing into the building for all the 243 apartment units we have in the building. And so that was extremely costly and extremely tedious work. And that is just, not all buildings have these structural systems, but the point here is that every building is unique, and you really, really need to understand your building from the very beginning before you jump into this endeavor. The other 2 pictures just give you an example of the fact that one of the things I loved about this building, it had those really tall, large office windows, and we were able to reuse those to get really tall, large apartment windows. And a lot of the apartments in the building bring in a lot of sunlight, which I'm really happy about. And then the other picture on the right is, us, is just an image of us starting to frame out for the new apartment units, and getting very creative about how we're running around existing columns and structure points to get our mechanical, our electrical, and our plumbing systems in. I talked a little bit about this at the very beginning about how local zoning codes and policies really are going to guide your program for your building, but they're very complicated, and so, like I said at the very beginning, make sure you have a good team, because misinterpreting any one of these codes, that's a very long list, can be quite costly and set you back quite a bit of time. But we live in a highly regulated real estate environment, and that's just what it is. It's not going to change anytime soon, and so it really is imperative to make sure that you have the right team members there, because you're really, if you can imagine, there is no separate building code for conversions. We have to meet the same building code and performance standards as if I'm building from scratch. But I'm taking this really old, clunky building with materials that were put in that, never had any of these codes or any of these performance standards in mind, that can also be costly. And it can also require a really creative developer and a really creative design team to figure out how to adapt an old building to meet modern, or really, these days, they don't want you to meet them, they want you to exceed modern building performance standards, because we're building for the future. And I will give a shout out to the Department of Buildings. They really worked with us. I mean, we didn't get any waivers per se, but they were really understanding. They worked with us in really trying to help us understand how we kind of work through code, permit the building. And I have no doubt that, we were one of the first buildings over the last recent wave of office conversions. I have no doubt that the ones that are preceding us are benefiting from the fact that DOB has been jumped in head first and has been really willing to work with developers on getting these projects done. And so if you're still with me and I haven't scared you away, I want to reiterate, office conversions are an amazing tool in a real estate tool belt. It's not a silver bullet, it is a golden BB. And it definitely requires, given its complexities, its challenges, and its costs, it requires an ecosystem that is built to incentivize these sorts of buildings. And so I just want to recap here. If anyone in the audience is thinking about doing one of these, I'm happy to give you my advice and my lessons learned, but don't forget that structural systems, mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems, those things do not transfer easily. Make sure you're very clear on what you have and what you plan to do. Code compliance is really important. DC, to our credit, we have one of the highest standards in building codes, and it requires creativity and it requires a lot of intent, frankly, is what I've seen the design change over the years. It just requires a lot more intent in how we build our buildings. And as a developer, I'm always weighing all of my obligations with my cost realities. And so that's why I also think DC has been a leader in the nation where they really are trying to create the public incentives and the environment to incentivize these sorts of office buildings so that they are real tools that we can actually put in our real estate tool belt to help transform downtown. And so, like I said, these things are not easy, and the best conversions are usually, and the ones that succeed are the ones that, the team really understands what it is they're going into, what the context of the real estate that they're investing in is, and moving from that direction. I would be remiss without saying that, and I said this at the beginning, it is a beautiful apartment building. This is just an example of one of our staged units. We've got lots of sunlight into most units, open floor plans, and really elevated finishes. And I think on the next slide, if anyone is interested in what the experience may be like at the Accolade, we actually have 4 levels of short-term rental or furnished apartments. And so you could, a guest or family members who are coming into town can rent it for a night all the way up to about 90 days. You have access to all the amenities in the building, great concierge, great experience, and I highly urge you guys to go out and take a look. Thank you for your time this morning, and I greatly appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Rachel Rose Hartman, Executive Director of the Downtown DC Foundation. Every dollar we raise is reinvested in Downtown DC, in our parks, public spaces, and for our most vulnerable residents. From the holiday market to Franklin Park, the Downtown DC Foundation enhances the value of our neighborhood by supporting our community where we need it most. To learn more about our work, visit downtowndcfoundation.org.
Progress isn't accidental, it's the result of intention. And in FY25, we were intentional about every step forward. It was a year of real momentum and strategic evolution. We reintroduced our brand, we celebrated 20 years of the Downtown DC Holiday Market, and we made sure the district and the world knew exactly who Downtown DC is and where we're headed. Our stakeholders demonstrated their confidence in Downtown DC's future by approving an increase to the bid tax rate, strengthening our ability to invest boldly and strategically. From hosting the International Downtown Association Conference, which brought 1,400 placemaking professionals to the heart of DC, and scaling activations and events across the neighborhood, this was all about positioning downtown for its next chapter. Every department played a role in shaping what Downtown DC became in FY25. And now, let me hand it to the team.
Hi, as a leader of the administration team for fiscal year 25, we were successful in hiring 8 new employees and we had 2 new promotions. We also saved our employees 3% on their annual health care benefit premiums. That was awesome. Thank you.
In fiscal year 25, I was most proud of working on the State of Downtown Forum and helping to use data to tell a clear picture about what's happening downtown. We also launched our data dashboard, which is an online resource that's free to the public and provides up-to-the-minute information on exactly what's happening in our market. I spent time working with our development community, helping them on their individual projects, solving problems, getting things over the finish line. And finally, I'm really proud of the Holiday Market Shopper Survey, which demonstrated that over $8 million of spending occurs in our neighborhood businesses because of the foot traffic that the holiday market brings.
Hi, I help run our nonprofit, the Downtown DC Foundation. We support homeless services, parks and public spaces, and events and programming in downtown DC. Homeless services is one of the areas we've identified as the greatest need for our community. And last year, we had our best year yet for our signature Welcome Home Kit program. We helped 33 individuals transition from homelessness to housing. We also support some of your favorite things about downtown DC, like Franklin Park, the Downtown DC Holiday Market, and more.
In fiscal year 2025, the Downtown Day Services Center served over 4,000 unique individuals. During that time, we provided people with humane access to services like food, clothing, and showers. Also, we provided access to mental health care, and dental services. The Downtown Day Services Center is the only services center that's open 6 days a week through inclement weather, and we don't take holidays off. All in all, we want to ensure that everyone here in downtown feels empowered.
We create memorable experiences through clean and safe initiatives and collaborative placemaking. Last year, we collected over 177,000 bags, 1 million pounds of trash. Through public art and activations, we drew 159,000 visitors here to Anthem Row, a 22% increase year over year. Over $500,000 in economic impact for our stakeholders and our certified business enterprises.
Reframing our narrative and positioning downtown DC as a leading destination was at the core of our work this year. We completed an organizational rebrand that yielded not only a new visual identity and a new logo, but it cemented our purpose, our promise, and our positioning. As the social center of DC with the widest array of things to do, we've always got the active aficionado in mind. And so that meant the Downtown DC Holiday Market, a refreshed new look, a completely new look and feel, and new operators yielded one of the best events of the year. This is your invitation to find what thrills you.
Wow. Team, what a year. Thank you so much for all of your incredible work. I can't wait to see what we have in store for FY 2026. See you next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage President and CEO of the Downtown DC Business Improvement District, Gerren Pratt.
When I say downtown, you say DC. Downtown? DC. Downtown? DC. Okay, I know it's still early in the morning and the energy level might be a little bit low, and I know we're getting late in the program. I have a good colleague who told me that they've changed their name from CEO meaning Chief Executive Officer to meaning Chief Energy Officer. So I'm gonna lean into that right now, and I wanna feel an energy throughout this beautiful auditorium in Johns Hopkins. So I'm gonna try that again. When I say downtown, you're gonna say DC. Okay, so watch it now. Let's see if we can make this work, guys. When I say downtown, you say DC. Downtown. DC. Downtown. DC. When I say downtown, you say DC. Downtown. DC. Downtown. DC. When I say downtown, you say DC. Downtown. DC. Downtown. DC. All right, now y'all got it. That's what I'm talking about. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now that is the energy that I'm talking about. That is the energy of downtown DC. And I don't know about you, but I feel it all over this place and all over this room. And that energy is fueled by community. And I want to thank you all for being in community with us here in downtown DC. Now, I want to take a quick moment, particularly in light of that beautiful video that you just saw with my infamous mic drop, just to thank my tremendous and amazing team at the Downtown DC Business Improvement District. Thank you for all your diligent efforts, your passionate and hard work to help elevate downtown DC to new levels. And a special thank you to our downtown DC SAM ambassadors who work every day, 365 days a year. There's literally no break for our team, keeping our downtown DC streets clean, safe, and friendly. Can we give them a round of applause? I'm also just so honored to be joined by so many of our incredible members of our Downtown DC BID Board of Directors. Thank you to all of our board members who are here. And a special thank you to our board chair, Mr. Michael McCarthy of Quadrangle Development. Give him a round of applause, please. Michael, you're decades now, is that right? Decades of leadership, of investment, of involvement and passion have been tremendous for this organization and for this community, and I thank you for that. I would again say thank you to Rayna Jordan and the entire team here at Johns Hopkins University and this beautiful Bloomberg Center for allowing us to be here in this beautiful space. And I was telling her earlier, she said, oh man, you guys decorated so nicely. It is easy to decorate nicely when you have such a beautiful canvas to work from. So thank you to the team here at Johns Hopkins University. The energy and the students and the intellectual capacity that you're bringing to our streets is exactly what we need, is a key part of our path forward. So thank you to Johns Hopkins University. And of course, I want to thank, for anything else, I want to pause and acknowledge and thank the elected officials who are here in the room with us today. I want to say a major welcome to Mayor Muriel Bowser, who is in attendance. Give her a round of applause. Really glad that you're here this morning, Mayor Bowser, and looking forward to hearing from you soon. And I also want to acknowledge at-large Councilmember Donnie Crawford, who is here in the building. Please give it up for Councilmember Crawford. And we are joined by a number of mayoral appointees and partners who work diligently with the Downtown DC BID to help ensure that we keep our downtown vibrant. I'm going to give a special acknowledgement and thank you to the Director of the Department of Small Local Business Development, Director Rosemary Suggs-Evans, who's here today. As well as to the head of the DC Library, Public Library Systems, Richard Reyes-Gavilan, who is here today. Thank you, Rich. And I always get into trouble here because I may have very well missed somebody else who's in attendance. So let's give it up to all of the elected officials and government agency appointees who are here with us today. Now, I want to go back to that word community, because again, I can feel the power and the presence of community in this room and in this space. And when I say community, I'm talking about all of you who are here today. As I look out on this crowd, I actually don't see any of you because these lights are incredibly bright. But I know from the RSVP list, more than 400 strong, so really glad that we had such great interest in our forum today. I know that we are surrounded and joined by business leaders and owners, cultural institutions, small businesses, restaurateurs, hotels, hospitality, tourism professionals. Destination DC is in the house, thank you. And congrats on an awesome travel rally yesterday. And I want to thank everyone in this room, whether you're a resident, whether you're a stakeholder, whatever your role is and your space is as part of this downtown community. I want to thank you for continuing to choose downtown DC and choosing downtown DC, even when sometimes that choice hasn't been easy. And I will say, in all honesty and full disclosure, it hasn't necessarily been easy all through 2025 because 2025 was a very complicated year. As you heard Mark say it earlier, and as you'll read in the State of Downtown report that, again, you now all have copies of, this was a year that was a little bit difficult, and some of that data tells a very hard story for us. In some cases, it's warning signals and signs that we have to be aware of, but there are also real issues that we are facing. As you heard, some of our tourism took real hits at points of the year. Doesn't help when there's a federal safety emergency declared, right? We had federal job losses that created real uncertainty for many people who are part of our community, and retail and office recovery has continued to be a bit uneven. But yet, as you heard, and I'm going to borrow from my colleague Ebony Walton, who said it so astutely, there are many golden BBs. And so that sad story is not the full story, because at the same time, we can be very proud of the efforts of our elected officials, leaders, and the Metropolitan Police Department, because violent crime has dropped nearly 70% from its peak. We can be very excited about our cultural institutions and leaders who have made sure that our art scene has stayed vibrant. We're going to double down and make it even more so, because cultural attendance was up by 9%. We can definitely be proud of that. We know that more restaurants opened in downtown DC than closed, even amidst a very challenging year for restaurants. So give it up for our restaurants. And when we bring it all back to people, we saw that more people came back downtown and people kept showing up. And that really matters. I will tell you, in the midst of a challenging year, for me as a leader of this Downtown DC Bid organization, for which I feel incredibly blessed to be able to serve here, we made a very intentional decision. We wanted to lean into joy. Not joy because we're in denial, not because joy is a distraction, but joy as a strategy. Because in moments of uncertainty, joy can become our infrastructure. We asked ourselves, how do we collectively make downtown a place where people want to be? Not just where they have to come, but where they choose to gather, choose to celebrate, choose to create, and decide that that is where they want to belong. How do we collectively make downtown DC a joyful place? Ladies and gentlemen, the future of downtown is not something that we're waiting for. The future is something that we are building, and we are going to build it together in real time. We're going to do that through parks filled with music, through public art that surprises you, through restaurants that are buzzing every night of the week, even on a Tuesday night, through festivals, performances, conversations, and yes, maybe even a big old ball of mistletoe that causes 1,435 couples to kiss under it. We are going to continue to lean into those unexpected moments of joy and love that remind people why they fell in love with DC in the first place. Joy creates gravity, and it pulls people in. And as we reflect on the state of downtown and we think about where it's going, I'm reminded that joy is going to carry us there, and that joy does not happen in isolation. It's going to take leadership. It will take partnership. It's going to take people like us in this room who are willing to meet the moment. And it's going to take real support from our elected officials and our council members who understand where we are as a downtown. And sometimes, I'll be honest, the best way to understand a city may not necessarily be through a State of Downtown report, though you have one anyway, you have a copy with you. But it's going to be how we move through these times, how we connect with one another, and how we show up side by side. So as we look ahead and recognize that there are many political transitions underway, we're going to continue to demand that the investment and attention to downtown that it deserves is realized. A healthy, thriving downtown spurs a healthy, thriving DC for all 8 wards. And so we have to stand up and continue to make sure that everybody in the city understands and knows that for our future to be secured. So this morning, as we think about where downtown is going, I want you to remember it's not just recovery, it's reinvention. It's not just progress, it's about people, it's about joy, it's about possibility, and it's about having the courage to keep building and keep moving towards both. Now, speaking of moving, it is now time to move on and for me to welcome our final keynote speaker. And our final keynote is someone who truly doesn't require an introduction, so I'm not going to pretend to do one long one or pretend to give you one right now. But I will say this, last year in an effort to make this one of the most engaging opportunities for people to talk about and discuss the issues of downtown, we introduced a little segment, something that quite frankly fulfilled my talk show host dreams that I always joke about with my team. But you might remember, those who were here last year, we did Late Night in Downtown DC with Gerren Price. And I found that to be riveting. It was a little moment that, reminded us that serious conversations don't always have to be presented in a serious fashion. And so this year, we wanted to freshen it up a bit, but keep that same energy And so we decided to introduce a segment with a little more movement, maybe a little more music, maybe some unexpected playlist choices. But I want you to brace yourself because sometimes the best conversations about a city happen when you're not sitting still. So before Mayor Bowser takes the stage, we thought we'd take you along for a ride. So please direct your attention to the screen. And Mayor Bowser, I want to thank you for always being willing to ride with me and Downtown DC and for all your support. She's been to every State of Downtown forum we've had since I've been with this organization and since she served as mayor. So we thank you for riding with us. Let's keep on moving. This is crazy. This is definitely the funniest thing I've done in my life. All right, well, MMB, I'm gonna see if you wanna rock it out a little bit with me. Hello, hello, hello. All right, I hear you. That's everyone knows this part.
Here we are now.
Entertainers.
On Generation X.
What was getting you moving and moving at that age?
I mean, I think I just like good music. I like good songs.
I really want to ask you, as you think about, 12 years and, your role in helping to shape the city, what about it are you most proud of? What stands out to you and is something you're going to carry with you?
Well, listen, you've heard me say this 1,000 times, but great cities have certain qualities and certain elements, and a vibrant downtown is like number 1, 2, and 3 on the list.
That's right. That's right. And it takes a lot of action and a lot of effort. You worked with us on the Downtown Action Plan to really think differently about our built environment. What do you think it's going to take to continue that transformation and to make sure that downtown has a really great future ahead?
I think people with big ideas. And, I'm a glass half full type of person, and for good reason in DC, because DC time and time again shows how it comes back.
Let's see what we got here.
Yes. So now you've picked my favorite artist.
Really?
Yeah.
You know the words?
Yes, I know a lot of Prince words.
Have to be rich to be my girl.
Oh, you sing too?
A little bit, a little something. I put a little note or two. Ain't no particular sign I'm more compatible with. I just need your extra time and your kiss. You've been approaching the downtown recovery from all angles. There's long-term planning and thinking. There's actual capital investment, like in, again, the Capital One Arena that we're passing right now.
Wow.
Is going to be a game changer for this neighborhood. And it's
already,
about,
look at it. Look at the facade.
It looks
it's changing.
so good.
So remember what I said. Great cities have certain things. And we think world-class sports are one of them. And great arenas are at the center of it. And we have, Abe Poland and Marion Barry took a big bet on downtown all those years ago. And now we can say that Ted Leonsis and Muriel Bowser and the residents of Washington, D.C. took another big bet. And we want to thank you for working with us, because we know when the arena goes dark in the summer for that massive construction, the bid steps up to make sure there's activity during the summer.
What's your favorite memory of downtown or a moment that you remember?
I will give you a recent one, and it's sports related, but when we put on the championship parade for the Caps, that was one of my favorite downtown moments.
That was a moment for the books.
Yes. Yeah, this right here is my jam.
Yeah,
this is my hype song.
Really?
Yes.
Her name is not Simpson, so watch what you say. Cause if you still need her, then be on your way. Don't go right here. I'm Simpson. She's got nothing on me.
Nothing.
So respect.
Okay, high notes. Yeah.
Her name is not Susan.
So anytime I'm getting ready for something big, I'm going to be playing this song.
Really?
Yes.
It's funny. I can see it. I can see that. I mean, I got to say, one of the things I hear all the time from folks, just the seriousness in which you moved and swiftly took action around public safety.
I'm a consistent supporter of having what we need for MPD,
absolutely,
for fire and EMS, for our Homeland Security agencies. At the end of the day, public safety is our number one job. Making sure all neighborhoods are clean and safe is our number one job.
I know you know this, man.
Yes.
Come on. We don't got room to like really get into the groove, but you know.
You're talking about a legacy. The Chuck Brown legacy is unmatched.
Unmatched.
And I know so many like venues around here make sure that Go-Go always has a place.
Absolutely.
People are playing in the downtown, and we always want that to happen.
Do you have any advice for whoever's next up and next in line, or anything you would say to them? You need to make sure this happens.
I want to be clear with everyone that neglecting the downtown, and I'm not just saying this for the present audience, is not an option.
That's right.
And I've been really clear over the last several years. I've made it the center point of my last several budgets is the comeback of the downtown.
Right. You know, given that we're talking about, you know, your legacy and your swan song, I think this one might be appropriate. I don't know if you know all the words. I probably don't, but I'm going to try my best anyway. You can't go wrong with Old Blue Eyes.
Old Blue Eyes. I have done it my way.
That's it.
And that is, some people won't like that, but listen, when you run for office, people elect you because you have a vision and they're behind you.
That's right.
And you can't let anybody take you off that path. And so I've had fights, I've had battles, but we got it done. Well, this was a blast for the past. I'll take it.
Yes, it was my way.
Well, good morning, downtown DC. I must say, I thought I was a much better singer than that. But I do like to have fun, and Gerren Price is a fantastic singer. Give it up for Gerren Price, the leadership here at the Downtown Bid, downtown businesses, downtown workers, or downtown ambassadors. I want to thank you for all the work that you have done. And I know I'm coming on the tail end of a big discussion, a serious discussion. You're going over data. And it is true that when I reviewed your annual report, I was even more inspired to double down on our efforts in downtown. I like the clip that you pulled, that no matter who sits in the mayor's seat, walking away, neglecting, underfunding, not paying attention to the downtown is not an option for DC. The downtown is literally the golden goose that for many years made it possible for us to invest in world-class city services, the gold standard of human services, and the type of city that allowed us to grow. The city where people want to live, where businesses want to come, and where people want to work. We know so many of you have used your good ideas and made investments that allowed the downtown to grow. You've ridden waves in previous years, and we're going to ride this one too. This is what I know. Our city is resilient and our fundamentals are strong. And we have the talent that we need to make and fulfill the comeback of Washington. Just yesterday, I was with Destination DC, and we talked about what's going on in tourism, that we're up a smidge. We still need to get back up, with the international numbers. But for a person like me, if you tell me we're up a smidge in a year that experienced unprecedented shocks to our system, then I know that if we could withstand that year, we're going to continue to grow in the years ahead. It is also true that we have to stay focused on our policy environment and not backtrack or backpedal on public safety, not go backwards in terms of investing in incentives in the toolbox that we will need to continue to attract new businesses and new employees to Washington, D.C., and invest now in how our workforce and the way people work will change to ensure that we continue to attract businesses, employees, but also that DC residents are getting good paying jobs to stay in the city that we love. Right now, the council has my budget, and you will recognize a couple of things. What I said is when we have a shock, when we have a fundamental shift in how our economy works, we have to have a fundamental shift in how our government works too. Now, I would love to say that in my final budget, I was able to do bigger and bigger things, but I had to make bigger and bigger decisions, and some of them were hard. So for the first time in my 12 years, I actually submitted a budget that was 3% less than the previous budget. But it also held the line on new taxes. And it made sure we were being strategic in our investments and strategic about how we grow. And so I was asked by Gerren the very good question, what advice would I give to all of you is to keep fighting for how we grow as a city. We cannot tax ourselves into prosperity. We have to create more jobs, more revenue, and more opportunities for DC residents and businesses to grow. So I remain optimistic about our beautiful downtown, our beloved city, and know that I can count on all of you to do the hard work, to demand the tough decisions, and hold us all accountable until we get on the other side. Thank you, downtown.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the Downtown DC State of Downtown Forum. Thank you for attending and tuning in. And remember, it's always a great day in Downtown DC. We look forward to seeing you next time.